Hey guys, I'm Kenya Horton, and in this video, I am going to walk you through my entry technique using the KiSS strategy, Kenya's instant scalping strategy. The main points of this strategy is to help you get into almost instant profit, and most importantly, it has a great risk to reward ratio. And so, one of the things that I really wanted to help traders do was to manage risk properly and also have a great risk to reward ratio with the scalping strategy because I find that a lot of people struggle with that part. And so I love that this strategy provides that instead of aiming for example, a 5 pip take profit or a 8 pip take profit and you're risking 20 to 30 pips. With this strategy, I strive for a 1-3 ratio, minimum 1-2 ratio, and it's very, very easy to do. Your entry is critical. So I'm going to walk you through exactly a trade that I just took. This is the IML web analyzer. You will find that this will be updated soon with the KiSS strategy. But basically what happens is that you're going to get a trade idea. A lot of times, sometimes I'll wait for the alert from the IML web analyzer, or I will scroll these different pairs on the left-hand side looking for setup. So I don't always wait for an alert. Sometimes you might find one that's getting ready to set up before the analyzer calls it. I just hunt for the setup, and I also pay attention to when I receive the alert. So 4 things that we look for 4 confirmations. We look for our candle to close outside of the Bollinger Band. For example, for a sell, we start on the 5-minute time frame, and we also look at the 15-minute time frame. So when I look at this really quickly, I'm looking for 4 things. I first look for the wick. If I'm entering for a sell, I'm looking for the wick or body of the candle to close outside of the Bollinger Band. So for example, if I'm looking here on the 5-minute chart at EuroCAD, I'm looking to see if I have a buy candle that closed right around the Bollinger Band, either the body or wick of the candle closed right outside or right on the Bollinger Band. Preferably, I like it outside of the Bollinger Band. And then I'm looking for price to go short right there within that area. I'm also looking for my RSI to come to the 80 level at least and to point down. If my RSI comes to about the 70 level or between 70 80, that's still a confirmation for me. But I basically look for it to come about 80 or above and then start to point down. I also look for my stochastic to come to at least the 70 or 80 level, preferably the 80 level. And I would look for my red signal to cross over my blue signal line for a sell. And although it doesn't match up right here, you actually have a confirmation right here. If you kind of move back a little bit, you'll see that price is testing this level right here where the Bollinger Band is, and then it breaks short to the downside. But because everything pretty much crossed over around right here, I also had a MACD cross. It just took a few minutes before price started to go short. So that's the first confirmation that I'm looking for. And then I move to the 15-minute time frame, and I'm looking for the exact identical confirmation. But one of the things that I quickly go through, I'm just going to show you really quickly. Once I see that I possibly have a setup on the 5-minute time frame, I go to my 1 hour time frame really quickly, and I like to just check the overall trend. One more important thing is before you even start trading, you want to make sure you follow your trading plan. I've outlined that for all of our traders inside of our Telegram. You always want to check Forex Factory just to check your high impact news. And for example, we don't have any red folders right now, but if we did, we'd want to be careful and either avoid trading any pair with USD in it. For example, if we had a red folder on USD, we would avoid trading that pair 1 hour before the news announcement and 1 hour after. So this says 5:30 a.m. I would avoid trading any US pair 1 hour before this 5:30 a.m. announcement and 1 hour after. Or you can trade the news and just be sure to follow your same rules and use a stop loss. You never want to trade news without a stop loss, in my opinion, just to protect your capital. So I go back here, and what I like to do is I like to do this on my computer. It's kind of hard to do all of this from your phone. When you get really good with the KiSS strategy, you'll find yourself being able to execute really quickly, which is a requirement. As scalpers, we need to be able to execute on trade orders very quickly, and so you'll get in the habit of that. But what I like to do is maximize my screen and or kind of get rid of some of the other indicators. And what I like to do is just kind of concentrate on this area right here. So what I do is I hide the Bollinger Band and you can just grab a trend line and you want to just quickly identify the trend. So what I do is I take my trend line tool and I just draw a trend line to see the overall trend. So ideally, we want to trade with the trend. The KiSS strategy works against the trend as well, but you want to trade with the trend. So if you get really good at just marking up your trend lines, that's going to help you a lot. You can also see here as you advance your knowledge that you have a bearish flag pattern. So with a bearish flag pattern, you have price consolidating in this area here, and then we're expecting it to more than likely continue to the downside, pushing down. So what I do really quickly, this might seem like a lot of work and you don't have to do this, but I'm so good at this. I've practiced so much that it just kind of happens really, really quickly. So all I do is I go here and I turn this to a line chart. You can leave the candles if you want. So I basically will just grab a horizontal line and I start to mark up my support and resistance after I've marked up my trend. So obviously I see price consolidating right here and I have my flag. So I would plot a resistance line right there. And then I'm just gonna find my support, and I have a level definitely about, well, you can always go to the end of the flag or the consolidation area. So I would mark it there. But because I'm looking to grab, I trade zone to zone. So I like to take profit from zone to zone. And when you scroll down on the lower time frame, these are going to get much wider. So let me show you what I mean by this. So now that I've marked my support and resistance areas, I'm only marking areas where I plan to make a trade decision. So of course, if I see that price is consolidating here at this resistance level, and if I see price rejection, meaning that price is finding it difficult to break through this area, and I see that, then that's another confirmation for me to enter for a sell. So after I've dropped my support, after I've marked my support and resistance, I jump down to the lower time frame. I go back to the 1 hour time frame, and you basically just want to make this bigger. And you'll notice here that you see where I have this trend line drawn. So we confirm that we're in a downtrend currently, right? And we are looking for a sell. So that's perfect because we want to trade with the trend. So as you can see, I entered here right around this area. You want to enter when all of your rules are confirmed. So you have your Bollinger Band. Let's add that back on here. You have you have your Bollinger Band confirmation right there. And once you have your Bollinger Band confirmation, you look for all of your other confirmations. So we already confirmed that on the 5-minute time frame. So now we're just going to quickly go to the 15-minute time frame. And because we marked our support and resistance areas, these support and resistance areas give us an idea of where to take profit. And when I say I trade from zone to zone, I'm trading from this major reversal zone to this major reversal zone here, or you could even take profit a little bit higher if you wanted to. But I'm looking for areas where there was strong price rejection or where price broke through a zone or it retested this zone. And you can see here that at this support level here that you had price rejection in the past. This area was a previous area of resistance here. So more than likely, because price repeats itself, we consider this to be a strong area of support where price will return to this area and we can take profit right in this area. Now, with a bearish flag and considering that we're in a downtrend, and if you understand the way flags work, you can also get an idea of how much profit to take as well. But because we're scalping, if we're risking 8 pips, my max stop loss is 8 pips. So when I enter this area here, my rule is that my entry has to be within 3 to 4 pips from my major reversal zone area. So when you're getting in, you preferably, if you see here, let me just make this a little bit bigger. If you see here, the 15-minute time frame is the chart that you're going to enter on. And you're going to look for those 4 same confirmations, okay? But do you see here right at the top outside of this Bollinger Band how you have a wick, and another wick? Let me just minimize this for you and let's take a look at it. So you see I already have my trend line drawn. We have our Bollinger Band. And we also have a lot of wicks right there. Do you see that? Wicks tell a strong story. They give you an idea of price rejection and price reversals, meaning that price is rejecting an area and reversing to the opposite side. And that's exactly what you had happen. So a lot of times what you're going to find is that when you see the four confirmations, let's say you have a confirmation here, you have a confirmation here, your RSI comes to the 80 level and it points down, your red signal line crosses over the blue signal line and points down, but your MACD is almost touching or it's almost coming together. Preferably, I like to enter when the MACD has crossed and all of these confirmations line up. However, with indicators, indicators are usually bringing you to the party a little bit late, okay? Now, I don't have to trade with indicators anymore. I've learned how to trade to where I don't really need indicators, but I started out using this strategy and it helped me to make a consistent income. And over time, I improved it by improving the risk to reward ratio and also the entry. So what you're going to notice is that when the MACD has crossed, if you found this trade, let's say minutes after the alert was called and you see that you have a confirmation, however, the MACD has already crossed, it's pretty much moved. You don't want to enter here in the middle of the momentum. You want to enter close to a level of structure where you have a major higher high or lower low, because if we look here, right here where we have this resistance area on this 15-minute time frame, if we enter this trade, logically, where will we place our stop loss? If we enter this trade in the middle of the momentum, logically, where will we place our stop loss? We wouldn't want to place it right a few pips above this middle long red candle, right? We want to place it above a major reversal zone, and that way we lessen our risk. Because if you're getting in way down here, you're going to have a wider stop loss. If price reverses, heads back to retest this area, and now you're negative, let's say 15 to 18 pips, when if you had entered close to a level of structure here near this major reversal zone, when you had all of your confirmations are almost coming together, then you go into profit almost instantly. So what you're going to find is that when you have a wick rejection, if your MACD has not crossed, but you see that you're in an overall downtrend, price is respecting this trend line, it's respecting this resistance area, you have a wick rejection, that's all confluence, meaning criteria for you to be able to enter the trade. That gives you multiple confirmations that this trade is most likely going to go your way. So you could enter if the MACD is not yet crossed, but you see that everything is coming together and you see that on the 5-minute, you have all four confirmations. What happens on the 5-minute? Most likely happens on the 15-minute. Not always, but almost always, it follows suit on the next higher time frame. So that's the comfort you have in knowing that. So you can enter early. However, you have to be really strict with your stop loss with this strategy, because you don't have to be right every single time. This strategy is not 100%. No strategy is. But what you're going to find, and I'm going to break the numbers down for you in probably the next video, is that you only have to be profitable 50% of the time in order to, you only have to be right 50% of the time to be profitable. So if you did 100 trades and you did, let's say, an 8-pip stop loss on every trade, if you got 50 trades wrong, but you aimed for a 1-2 ratio and got 50 trades where you were able to make a 1-2 ratio, you'd still come out profitable. And that is very easy to do with this strategy. The average pip gain is about 20 pips for this strategy. So you can take profit wherever you're comfortable. If you want to take profit at 10 pips, you can do 10 pips. We just want to aim for a minimum of at least, I would say, 1-2 ratio to make sure that we're positive. But sometimes if price is stalling, I'll go ahead and I will take profit. And one of the things that I'm really, really good at is entering on pullbacks. So what you're going to find is that on the 15-minute time frame, when you have all of your confirmations and the MACD has crossed, you're going to find that price is going to pull back. And what I mean by that is it's just going to temporarily reverse in the opposite direction, and it usually reverses to retest another area. So let me show you really quickly what I mean by that. So as you can see here, we have where price came to this level here, this zone area, respected this trend line, had a wick rejection, and price started to drop, right? So if you see here, if we just grab another horizontal line, we can see here that price is pretty much retesting this area right here. But one of the things I want to show you, if we just hide the Bollinger Bands, and we just kind of zoom out, I know this might look a little bit confusing, but even if we just go to the 1 hour time frame, I want to show you what we're looking at overall. And as you start to train your eye to see these things, you'll notice them right away. So one of the things that we have, actually, let me go to, um, no, we can actually stay here. Okay, so let me just go back to the 15-minute time frame. 1 second. All right, so what you're gonna see right here, you probably will have a difficult time seeing this, but you're gonna hear a lot about flags, bearish flags, bullish flags, okay? And so what we have right here is a flag. We have a flag right here, okay? This is a bearish flag that's forming right now. But what happened is as price broke here, it basically returned to retest this major zone area right here. This is another important key level where you'll see that price is bouncing off of this area right here. So what you're going to find is most times that when the MACD crosses, price is going to pull back to retest an area of resistance or support. So most times, if I've gotten into the trade, I usually will take profit at maybe 6 to 10 pips. I let price pull back, and it has to pull back within a certain pip amount for me to re-enter. But if you join my public Telegram, I go through step by step exactly how I do that. But in this particular trade, I just want to show you really quickly in my Telegram. So you'll see that that's EuroCAD that I just went over with you. And what I try to do is I drop trade ideas inside of my Telegram telling you exactly when the idea is forming. So here I put KiSS trade idea, EuroCAD, short. Short means sell, long means buy. So it says short, all rules almost confirmed, no MACD cross, and zone breaks do not enter. So what I mean by that is if we go back to EuroCAD, I'll just pull up this picture here. You see here that you have your confirmations lined up, right? Your 5-minute MACD crossed, everything is confirmed here on this chart. You have a Bollinger Band confirmation, your RSI comes to the 80 level points down, your red signal line crosses over blue and it's above the 80 line and points down, and your MACD cross. This is a beautiful confirmation. You then go to your 15-minute time frame and you're looking for the same confirmation. So this is where I pretty much will enter the trade, but I like your entry should be within 3 to 4 pips from your major reversal area. So when you mark your support and resistance, which you see here, you see that price is testing this area, but it's failing to break through. We also had a bearish flag pattern confirming that we're in a downtrend, that price is more than likely going to break back down to the downside, which it did. We want to enter within 3 to 4 pips from this area, from 50.96, okay? So realistically, you want to be in the trade at around 50.94. Even 50.92 is not a bad entry. Now, why is this important? Because if price were to suddenly, anything can happen, nothing is guaranteed. Even though we have these confirmations from these indicators, price can reverse and go the other direction and break through this zone. So if price was to break this level here at 50.96, I'm always thinking, what is the next area that is going to try to retest up, okay? So you can decide, you can make a decision if you want to allow it to retest to that next level, or I have a zero tolerance for ignoring stop losses. My max stop loss is 8 pips because I know what it takes to be profitable with this strategy. Normally, you won't have a break in a strong level of support or resistance, but it happens. So if it breaks this area here, I know that my 8 pip stop loss is in place. Ideally, I want to be in this trade within 3 to 4 pips of this zone here. And if it breaks, my max stop loss is 8 pips. So your stop loss should be 8 pips total from your entry. And if you can nail down your entry, which is 3 to 4 pips from this major zone, then you pretty much are minimizing your risk. Instead of entering way down here or when there's already momentum, you won't have such a huge stop loss, okay? So I usually will drop a recap of my trades inside of Telegram, whether if it's a loss or a win, just to show you guys and give you visual examples of how this strategy actually works, the setup that you're looking for, because at first it's going to be a little difficult probably for you to eye the setup, to really find the setup, but that's going to be with any strategy. You have to train your eye on what to look for, and once you know what to look for, you don't need a whole bunch of setups. Even if you did 10 pips a day and got really good with this strategy, although you want to aim, remember, for a minimum 1-2 ratio, but if you're comfortable taking profit at 10 pips and this works for you almost every time, over time you can increase your lot size and hit your goal a lot faster, as long as you're maintaining proper risk management on your account balance. So as you can see here, look what happened. So it did exactly what I expected for it to do. Okay, so you have all of your confirmations there. And see, this is what I mean. We don't want to come to the party late and enter into the trade at 50.86. We want to get in, we want to sell high, and we want to buy low. And we definitely want to look for our confirmations to be able to do that. So that's exactly what I did. And you'll see price continue to drop, and then I normally will drop, just my profits. Now, I normally do a few things. I usually do 2 trades at a time. I twin trade. Sometimes I'll trade. I've earned the right to increase my lot size, but I'm comfortable trading on $1 lot size. I recommend trading 0.01 lot size per 100 in your account. And also, there's a risk calculator in the trading plan that I included for you guys. It's in the Telegram. You can find that also on our YouTube channel, how to access that. But all the documents that I provide for this strategy are in this Telegram. And you basically just want to follow everything that I give you. You want to trade according to the risk that you have set up for your own account. I trade multiple accounts, but I normally do 2 positions. I usually take profit at between 6 to 10 pips. And most times I let the market pull back and I will re-enter for another trade. Usually I like to take profit at different areas. I actually close these 2 together by accident. But the power of twin trading is being able to basically take profits at different price levels in the market so that you capitalize on the momentum. So for example, if I took profit at 50812, I could continue to let the market drop and just let this trade continue to run. But most times, sometimes I'll just close out if I think that the market is going to give me a good pullback. Okay, so hopefully this visual example helps you to understand this strategy. But this is actually EuroCAD. I'm sorry, I was supposed to be going through EuroCAD with you, which is right here. But same thing. I dropped a EuroCAD and AUD-CAD setup, and it's pretty much the same thing. So that's EuroCAD we went through, okay? So that's just a visual example. So the main thing you wanna make sure that you do is follow the rules that I have in place for the KiSS strategy. Just remember that the main benefits of this strategy is it has a great risk to reward ratio, and I've perfected the entry a lot and helped you understand how to get in early enough to go into profit almost instantly. Also, too, we're not risking 20 to 30 pips just to make 5 pips or make 8 pips. We can easily make a good, I would say, 20 pips even. But if you want to take profit faster, you can do that. If you want to learn my pullback method and take profit even faster on multiple trades, you can also see how I do that. So I will show you, for example, if you go to our Telegram and if you just click on, let's see here, if you go to files here, you can do this from your mobile phone or computer. There is a guide in here that I have on pullbacks, how to trade pullbacks. So I created this to be able to show you guys exactly how to trade pullbacks, and I put a lot of visual examples in there to show you how that works. So you can get all of that information right there in Telegram. Other than that, guys, after you're done with your trade, you always want to make sure that you record it inside of your journal. And I'll just show you really quickly how I manage that. So I have a spreadsheet that I use. And let me just make sure this is pulling up for you. So I'll probably have to do a new share. So you just want to make sure that you journal every single trade, so that way you can record exactly the outcome of your trade. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to be able to see the different trends, the different areas of possibly improvement, and the weaknesses of your strategy. So you want to get so good at journaling your trades so that you understand what the benefits are of your strategy and what those weaknesses are and possibly where you can improve. That's how I was able to improve the entry technique of this strategy and also the risk to reward ratio. So guys, that is an overview of the KiSS strategy. I've gone over just exactly how to enter the trade, how to exit the trade. I've explained risk to reward ratio. I've also shared the pullback guide with you and how to access that. And you can go through this pullback guide that I've created. And it's very, very thorough, very detailed, very simple to understand. And if you follow my Telegram and also see exactly how I trade these different ideas that I share with you, I have no doubt that you can duplicate what I'm doing. If you find that it's a little too difficult for you, hopefully just by me sharing the outcomes of my trades that that it can work for you too quickly, as much as as much as it works for me. I've helped a lot of people be profitable with this strategy, and it absolutely works. So again, you don't need a whole lot of setups. You just need to master what you're looking for. And I also love it, guys, because I really don't want you just depending on indicators. However, I feel that it makes it easy for a new person. But what you're going to find is that over time, you're going to get really good with marking up your charts and understanding price structure and price movement and how to capitalize on these different moves, and not just entering a trade because indicators are telling you to do so, but really reading the market and price structure to understand what's going on in the market. So that is an introduction of the KiSS strategy. Again, this web analyzer will be updated with this strategy very soon. And I look forward to doing more live trading with you guys. Comment on this video if you have any questions. I'll continue to do more trade ideas, live trade ideas, and showing you recaps of how this works. And that's about it. So thanks for watching. Comment on this video, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what challenges you might be having and also what's going well for you. Thanks, guys.